media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news, untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
From the Savannah to the Midland and the Atlantic, Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. Ambazonia rise.
Dear Ambazonians on the home front and diaspora.
Dear Ambazonia freedom fighters in the home front and in the diaspora.
The Ethics Commission of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is coming out to alert you that it is becoming more and more evident that the former British Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonians, will soon emerge as the newest nation in the world.
We are calling on all of us to start preparing to receive Ambazonia as parents prepare to receive their firstborn child. Malcolm X said, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We are already very educated, talented, and very rich in natural resources. Do all this guarantee a safe and prosperous Ambazonia? The answer is an emphatic no. Theodore Roosevelt said, to educate a person in the mind but not in morals is to educate a menace in society.
Ambazonians, it is time to start planning to restore our cultural and social values that characterize us as a people of good repute. Before our Republic to Cameroon invasion, we were respectful of each other, of the law, and of our culture. We earned our living through honest hard work, making clean money for ourselves.
Our values helped us to maximize the benefits of our natural resources as well as our human resources. Southern Cameroons were serene and clean, simply beautiful in spirit and in the physical. We all long for such a place to call home, and we can make it happen by God's grace.
Our local government areas and counties, are you prepared? Do you have an ethics commission in your local government areas, counties to serve as a moral compass for you? Do you have a copy of the Ambazonia Ethics Code and the Constitution?
All arms of government, do you have an ethics agency? Departments of DSS, HSS, Communications and IT, Education, DHACM, DFA and DEINR. Do you have ethics agency to serve as a moral compass for your departments?
Ambazonians, you need to know your rights by reading the Ethics Code and the Constitution.
Shame unethical behavior and reward good behavior in your communities. Hold leaders accountable. Be the watchdog of your communities and governments. See something, say something.
The church, you are the main research center of moral principles with the responsibility of moralizing the society. How effective are you outside the church building?
Maya Angelou said, when you know better, then you do better. Ambazonians, watch Ethics for an Emerging Ambazonia every Friday at 10 p.m. Amba time.
Exclusively on ABC Amba TV. Stay tuned.
From the savannah to the Midland.
A man may walk from dusk to dawn, but a woman's work is never done. Undoubtedly, moms deserve to be celebrated because they are always putting others ahead of themselves. Mother's Day is the perfect opportunity to stop and reflect on all of her hard work. Of course, Mother's Day isn't just a day for celebrating your own mother. It's a day for honoring all women in your life who support and nurture you, from your sister to your grandmother. It's also a chance to wish a happy Mother's Day to the mothers in Ambazonia who are bearing the brunt of the war. Sometimes, the best way to thank Mother Ambazonia is with a simple and heartfelt message. Not all of us can write like Shakespeare, and it can be difficult to put our feelings into words. That's why we're calling on all women, men, old, young to say Happy Mother's Day by getting a copy of the book Echoes of Women's Tears. Echoes of Women's Tears is one platform where the Ambazonian woman gets some closure from the pain of losing their own in the senseless war. Echoes of Women's Tears, a 21st century genocide in the former British Southern Cameroons.
The Ambazonian mother, pains in thorns, cries out blood as she sees her own maimed and wasted. Her joy of childbirth turns out bloody. While we may not be able to feel the weight of the pain of what the Ambazonian mother is carrying all through, we do know that recognizing her this day would mean a lot of hope for her. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, love leaves a memory no one can steal. For our love for you, Mama, we will beat Cameroon out of Ambazonia. We will win the war. Sooner than later your tears of agony will suddenly become tears of melody. Happy Mother's Day, Mother Ambazonia.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution and Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold story
into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team. The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution and Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft. The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution and Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft.
Now is the era of self-defense. From effective personal self-defense to legitimate Ambazonia community protection programs to stop the wanton destruction of lives and our property in Ambazonia. We are therefore going to work to accredit and embrace all self-defense and security groups that will endorse our IG rules of engagement. I will be reaching out to all in the days ahead. I hereby wish to extend an olive branch to all movements and our able activists in this struggle to bring in their best contributions on my table, and let's serve our great country now together more than ever before. I will be giving all Ambazonians a direct hotline to send in their suggestions. We need to fund the struggle now. Our brothers and sisters on ground zero are paying for the war with their blood. We must sell our jewels and deny ourselves every comfort to pay for our freedom with our last might. Fellow Ambazonians, I have convened the National Security Advisory Council for the first time in the month of March. This convocation shall bring together all principal actors to strategize and build a suitable platform to organize and strengthen our community's resolve to defend the only place we call home and our millions of desperate lives on ground zero. Every inch of British Southern Cameroon shall be free. Be it known that we have secured the participation of all major self-defense groups. The interim government aims at providing leadership, not ownership, of our laudable self-defense initiatives. This joint platform will equally ensure good organization, coordination, and efficiency in this very vital domain of our struggle, self-defense. We will soon form a formidable joint defense unit with all major factions to confront the enemy as one man. In reply to their many genocidal assaults against our peace-loving people of Ambazonia, we have decided to match French Cameroon's terrorists pound for pound in record time. We can no longer sit and wait for our villages to be burnt down by Bia's barbaric army, or our youth killed or maimed at random by bloodthirsty and trigger-happy terrorist soldiers. We now need the best skills, the best brains, the best capabilities, and our best fight to get us all to Buea as soon as possible.
Good evening and welcome to this very special broadcast. This is the day you have been waiting for with great excitement.
Yes, it is Award 22. The Amber War Draft 2022 is here finally, and Ambazonians from every county, local government area, home and abroad All arms and tiers of government thus far have shown a great sense of mobilization.
Tonight, like we promised, is the Award 22 launch inspired by Undaunted ABC Amber News. I am Onyi Opala, your anchor.
And I am Star Smart, your co-anchor. We have a lot in store for you tonight, but first, let's pay due reverence during this special program to the Commander-in-Chief of the Amazonian Restoration Forces,
To the county and local government area commanders,
the Field Marshals,
the Major Generals,
and all the valiant forces.
respect. Now let's pay a moment of silence to all our fallen heroes. Award 22 already everywhere, and we can feel it, we can smell, we can taste, and we can see the excitement. Still Smart, do you share the same emotions?
It smells so fresh, like a perfume from the shores of Bimbia, hovering over the Ambers Bay all across the home front and the diaspora. The ignorant arrogance and preposterous accession of Chris Anu provokes Amazonian stakeholders to challenge him. They are doubling their drafts already.
Ignoramus Christopher Anu, childish, assumes that he is the voice, attempts a campaign against our Award 22, but it seemingly has fallen down flat. What a shame.
I know you can't wait to get some feedback coming in from the grassroots, home front, local government areas, counties, and every tier of government. But first, let's have a recap of this week's Undaunted.
We started this week with the story of Tibonaj, speaking straight to the point where he was disappointed that the Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall SCIT audience, by emphasizing that a government approach is sound and makes sense in international diplomacy. He said Ambazonia must unite in purpose, even if there are many groups.
I remember that we informed Ambazonians that Thibault Peter Nage Jr. is a former United States Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs and a former American Foreign Service officer who served as the American ambassador to Guinea and to Ethiopia. Nage is a retired career U.S. Foreign Service officer who followed through assignments as U.S. Ambassador to Ethiopia and Guinea, as well as the Deputy Chief of Mission in Nigeria, Cameroon and also Togo. His earlier assignments included Zambia, the Seychelles, Ethiopia and Washington, D.C. In recent times, he has shown very keen interest in the conflict in the Cameroons, especially his indirect to the Ambazonian liberation movement. That's why what he says is vital, Onyi.
Yeah, I remember also that Thibault Nage did not only say that Ambazonians have got to unite in purpose, he encouraged during the SCIT weekend town hall that Ambazonians should speak about independence and sovereignty and talk about what others can benefit from each other. I'm sure he's talking about interest there, not incessant historical narrations. He went ahead to say that the victory of Ambazonia depends on Ambazonians and not the international community. That's a big one right there, sir.
By that observation, I understand Thibault means the ground game at the home front should be intensified. By uniting in purpose, I understand he means that ACT Team Ambazonia should be beefed up and tax for the interim government.
Yes, I think so too. The interim government has got to update Ambazonians about the health of Team Ambazonians and most probably the way forward.
Very important to note, Thibault Nage condemned the CDN Canada approach. He said that it was just tourism to watch Lake Geneva. I'm sure the SCIT in the Revolutionary Council idea felt so devastated. What do you think?
Well, the Revolutionary Council ideology is a lofty illusion. Another very interesting advice Thibault gave is that Ambazonians should stop insulting people who would want to help the movement.
That's quite encouraging. You know, it's baffling to see how people will want to do an experiment like the Revolutionary Council in the face of a genocidal onslaught in the homeland. That leads us to process once again the Weber, his objectives and his recent crusade for an alternative platform different from the interim government. Well, that'll be right after the break.
All right, sincere apologies for that technical mix-up. That we'll continue with the news and we'll definitely get back to the break. Now, after the Thibault Nage trigger, we thought that it is necessary to take another look at the Weber crusade. Honorable Weber and his bogus Stuttgart outing. But before we get into this story, I would like to ask, what makes a nation a hood? That is, what makes nationhood? Of course, it has to be a government, it has to be the flag, the anthem, and the people within a territory. They are obviously the prerequisites to nationhood.
Like a lecturer in a first-year university class, 101 History and Psychology of Revolutions, Honorable Weber, during his Stuttgart tour, reduced Ambazonian to his students of yesteryears and hammered home revolutionary theories that are practically of the 60s. Yes, a good lecturer he was, but what message did he pass and how valid was his message to the ongoing Ambazonian revolution? One thing that the Honorable does not see and did not lay emphasis on was the time, context, and background history of every revolution, which determines how each and every revolution can be prosecuted. Can anyone in the world prosecute a revolution without considering the characteristics of the revolution?
No, sir, you asked a question and how valid his message to Ambazonia in revolution, and that's a vital question if you ask me there. Now, what we mean here is that no two revolutions are similar. Now, it is always the background history, context, and time of every revolution that determines how the revolution can, at best, be prosecuted for the most effective result.
The choice of forming a government, which to Honorable Weber was a fundamental error, was rather the reason of the existence of the Ambazonian Revolution. This revolution came to exist because the oppressor had dissolved the government of the people of the former British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, and there is no way one could reinstate the dissolved institution of the state of Ambazonia without a government. So Honorable Weber, as a good revolutionary teacher, is totally out of context in the case of the Ambazonian Revolution.
Now, according to Honorable Weber, we have not progressed because countries that have diplomatic ties with the government of Cameroon are running away from the Ambazonian government. That's according to his assertion anyways. But it's funny, I must say. But rather than the reverse is true, many more countries, as members of the UN system, have their eyes on Ambazonian's case because the people reinstated institutions that many countries can identify with their knowledge of the Ambazonian history.
And we have got proof, Oni. Proof of it is that most countries under the UN system have backed the Swiss-led mediation process and are asking for dialogue in a neutral venue with a neutral mediator. As a solution to the conflict, if that is not tacit recognition of such institutions, tell me what is then. La République du Cameroon knows so well that what has wrapped into, and that is why there is this internal struggle to destroy the interim government before any dialogue. Anybody who is not seeing this is simply unconsciously or consciously compromised. And we, the people of Ambazonia, will never forfeit our interim government for anything whatsoever.
But you see, Honorable Weber raised a very strong point in the fact that not everybody will accept a particular position, and in the same way, the Ambazonian interim government can never be accepted by all, and he is one of those anti-government individuals, as he has so clearly declared. The interim government is equally not expecting all Ambazonians to adhere to it, but knows that their result will be for all of Ambazonia.
It is equally surprising for Honorable Weber to raise issues of paying allegiance to the flag. I would love to ask him if he can show proof of anyone in the interim government who does not pay allegiance to the Ambazonian flag and anthem. Furthermore, in the event of a revolutionary committee to prosecute the revolution, will the people not be called to pay allegiance to that structure?
Now, that's a vital observation and question Weber hasn't satisfied in his lectures. Honorable Weber sounded so insolent and brought to play the picture of a teacher who he is in front of his students, the Ambazonian people, being the all-knowing on the subject of revolutions. The most disturbing aspect of Honorable Weber's outing was his ingratitude to the actors that have kept his revolution running for the past 5 years. He sounded so accusatory with little or no appreciation to the interim government for absolutely handling of the revolution so far. He did not provide any viable strategic plan. Too much noise making.
For Honorable Weber to qualify the interim government, as some online groupings show, of bad faith, as even the Revolutionary Committee he thinks will best to prosecute the revolution will be created online. We think that Weber should be told that Ambazonians have long gone through diplomatic corridors both in the US and in the UK, and much water has gone under the bridge with many Congress resolutions and the TPS to the favor of the nation. For him not to be appreciative of such efforts and think that he will reinvent the wheel, observers think that he risks ending up in the bad books of the revolution.
A concerned Ambazonian writing from Bui County advises Honorable Weber. He says, Honorable Weber did a great job when a voice to speak for the people of former British Southern Cameroon in the La République du Cameroon Parliament was needed. It was a well-played role in the independence process and was highly appreciated by the people then. He remains in the books like a hero, but may risk tainting that image with outings of revolutionary theories that have no bearing with the practical reality of the struggle on the home front.
To end it up, he says, quote, Honorable Weber is called to come down from his I-know-it-all high horse of revolutionary theories and come down to the practical realism on the ground. Get in touch with the leadership of his Jakiri local government area and Boyi County and see how much he can rally funds and support the revolution at this practical stage so he can speak from there and impact his people.
Alright, we already know that the season and time that we are in. Before we get into it properly, I think that it is important for us to get the basics and explain to Ambazonians what the draft initiative really means. Meanwhile, during the week when we handled this, we had SOS Zama and Nijo share their thoughts on this particular draft session.
It's the draft season. Draft number 3 for Ambazonia. This is the year Christian the Word 22, and we already basking in the ambience of it.
Oh yes, award Amber Word Draft is an initiative launched for all the 13 counties of the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia to adequately fund all legitimate community groups fighting to end the ongoing genocide in Ambazonia.
This award initiative, as conceived and frameworked by President Sako, is aimed at engaging committed indigents in the different counties at home and abroad for a one-on-one financial commitment to upgrade our self-defense capabilities in all 13 counties so as to take command and control of our national territory. Every year, it keeps evolving.
We have seen a remarkable evolution from Lava Storm 1, 2, and 3, Operation Fire for Fire, which aims at consolidating our individual resolve to finish the assignment of our generation, statehood restoration of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
The Presidency, the Directorate of Resource Mobilization at the Presidency of the Federal Republic, Ambazonia, and our 13 county managed national treasury shall assist in the promotion and management of this program in all 13 counties so as to ensure maximum results and utmost transparency. All 13 county administrations, all 61 local government area executives, and all NSC mobilizations at the Presidency of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
100% of the resources generated through the award initiative are at the disposal of our county government for the management of county activities at the home front. The federal government, under the leadership of President Sako, remains the overseer and guarantor of this initiative.
Let posterity count each and every one of us as part of this noble patriotic operation to be free, motherland, Ambazonia.
Alright, we'll go for
The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft. The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft.
On Tuesday, we looked at the invasion of Cross River by alleged separatist fighter from Cameroon. Now, what the Nigerian press, especially the Sahara reporters and the pro-La Republic de Cameroon paper, The Guardian Post, must know is that the Ambazonia interim government, led by President Samuel Sako and its restoration fighters, the ARFs, have only one enemy, and that is La Republic de Cameroon and its allies. France and any other person standing in the way for the total independence of the southern Cameroons, Ambazonians, and nobody else.
We indicate that the ARFs have no reason to cross over to Nigeria and engage a fight with our immediate neighbor, Nigeria. On the contrary, the ADF of Black Leg Ayabacho and La Republic du Cameroon have their secret alliance with indigenous peoples of Biafra, IPOB of Nnamdi Kanu, which alliance the interim government of Sako is not a signatory. This education should help Nigerian thinkers, writers and reporters and guide them on the way they see things unfolding and to know where to give praise or apportion blames. Example, this thinker, he said, quote, They told you that Cameroonian militants came to cross over and kill 20. They didn't say Ambazonia for a reason. They don't know. They didn't want you to think anything. Then in another news, they said a Biafra gave Ambazonia 5 days to apologize for invading the Cross River.
Again, they didn't say IPOB, but a Biafra group. The first news said militants from Cameroon, while another group called them Ambazonians. Now, are you seeing the difference? Are you seeing that they are playing with you? With us. They have seen the collaboration between Ambazonia and Biafra, and they want to destroy it. Are you going to let them fool you? Now, listen, Ambazonians. Ambazonia have no reason to attack Cross River. Those that want to blackmail them did the attack. They now also said a Biafra group warned and asked them to apologize. Which Biafra group?
How did this Biafra group know for sure that it is Ambazonia that did it? The truth is that no Biafra group spoke. It is a concoction of the government to play you. They want to create a non-existent problem between natives in Cross River and their Amber neighbors. Do not let them. Don't be fooled. Those blackmailing IPOB have raised the bar. Don't be used to destroying what you have with Amber. That was Elochukwu Ohagi, philosopher, teacher, and activist, 2022. Evidently, the war is currently fought at different fronts.
That's why Ambazonians must stay focused as the reason for the draft, and the season is here. The next story will be a whole different story altogether. We have a lot packed for you today, and I'm sure that you do not want to miss it, so go nowhere.
The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is to draft. Draft and draft and draft. People of Ambazonia, draft.
Why the war draft is a must now. Fellow Ambazonians, after 5 years of relentlessly fighting for the liberation of our homeland from the genocidal occupation of French Cameroon, it's very important that we remember why we are fighting and why it's so absolutely necessary that we continue to fund the struggle by joining the war draft and making even greater sacrifices than before. When the United Nations General Assembly in Resolution 1608-XV of April 21, 1961, granted independence to the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, they did not expect that 61 years after, this territory will be forcefully annexed and colonized by a belligerent neighbor. It must be noted here that the territory of the Southern Cameroons had already attained self-government as early as 1954, a status we enjoyed up to 1972, when the state of West Cameroon, Southern Cameroons, was illegally annexed, overrun, and occupied by French Cameroon. And because the Southern Cameroons within secure internationally recognized boundaries, she had a functional police force under the direct command of the Prime Minister and head of government, including a mobile paramilitary wing that played the role of a territorial self-defense force. It was this vibrant territorial force that was illegally and surreptitiously disbanded by the Yaoundé regime in the mid-60s, when our nationalist leader and head of government of the Southern Cameroons, Bobe Augustin Ngom-Dua, was overthrown by the creeping annexationist regime of Amadou Ahidjo. So as we enter another patriotic war draft and fundraiser for our violent restoration forces, we must remember that just as we restored Dr. Ndele's government on October 1st, 2017, we are also restoring our territorial self-defense force, now dubbed the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, ARF. Charged with not only the defense of our country and our nation, but also with driving out for once the occupation forces of genocidal Cameroon. Taking part in the war draft for our Ambazonian Restoration Forces is therefore a great patriotic duty that we must all embrace. As we speak, the country of Ukraine is under attack, with parts of her territory occupied by the Russians. We have seen how the Ukrainians have risen like one man to defend their territory, instituting a war draft that has prohibited men from the ages of 18 to 60 years of age from leaving the country. Not only are they not allowed to leave the country, but they're also compelled to take an active part in the defense of their country against the occupying forces of Russia. This is the same patriotic fervor that we expect from all Ambazonians now in fulfilling our sacred duty of defending and freeing the motherland from the genocidal grip of Cameroon's occupation forces. Thousands of our young men and women have risen since 2017, picking up arms and fighting the occupation forces to the death. We've lost thousands with many more injured, while thousands more are in the bushes fighting day and night to drive out the occupiers. It's therefore imperative that those of us, especially those in the diaspora, that are not confronting the enemy on the ground play our part and fulfill a sacred duty of drafting, raising the funds, and providing the logistics that our restoration forces need to resist the occupiers. Fellow Ambazonians, joining the draft and contributing generously is not a matter of choice for any Ambazonia, but a sacred duty to oneself, family, and the nation. They say sacrifice makes gods of men, makes us sacred, so let us do our duty now. Our President, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, and the Resource Mobilization Department, headed by Comrade Ma Irene Ngwa, will be visiting each and every county soon for another round of the draft. Based on the current geopolitical atmosphere, this is a time for us to empower our restoration fighters on the ground to achieve some of our key strategic and military goals, to once more prove to the world that we are ready to not only reclaim but to defend our country after liberation from any future aggression. By building a formidable, responsible, and credible self-defense force, Ambazonians will be proving to the world that we are a responsible state and ready to play a constructive role in the Gulf of Guinea. The rest of the world is watching and waiting to see how capable Ambazonians are in terms of establishing themselves as Africa's newest state. We must therefore make even greater sacrifices in our efforts to upgrade our valiant restoration forces as they lay their lives on the line to liberate Ambazonia. As a footnote, we must remember that it costs between $3,000 to $5,000 to properly equip each restoration fighter to effectively engage the enemy. So as we look up to our boys on the ground, expecting results from them, we must first ask ourselves how far we've gone to empower them. We must first ask ourselves how much financial sacrifices we have made to provide them the means to fulfill their sacred duties. Fellow Ambazonians, this is the time for us to draft until we drop. That must be our slogan and rallying cry now. And along the way, we should be asking ourselves some critical questions. Are we still enjoying 3 square meals a day while our boys on the ground lack the basic gear they need to resist the occupiers? Are we still living a life of luxury and comfort while our brave restoration forces lack medical supplies at the front? Are we still throwing big birthday bashes while our restoration forces lack basic communications equipment to maximize their efforts? Are we still going on cruises and expensive vacations while our IDFs on the ground go without food and logistics? Are we still finding excuses not to make the necessary sacrifices and drafting big while our restoration forces lack the game-changing equipment that they so desperately need to bleed the enemy? On a daily basis, how much are we putting aside for our liberation, knowing that only through fierce resistance are we going to liberate our beloved country? Are we providing the federal government and the CIC the means to carry out some of the critical intelligence and other special operations across the national territory? Fellow Ambazonians, as we ponder these questions, we must remember that a goal that is not funded is nothing but a wish. And we must not let Ambazonia die as a wish, because we failed to fulfill our patriotic duties by making the great sacrifices befitting of a great people. Fellow Ambazonians, the war draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No great victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices. We are enough, so let's draft, draft, and draft until we drop. Our existence as a people depends on that.
All right, and we are ready for the draft proper. And to help us go through this section, to help us answer all of the questions that we have Dr. Martins Mungwer to do that with us this evening. I'm sure that he's around. Good evening, Dr. Martins Mungwer. How are you doing today? I can't really get your sound, sir. All right, so I'm sure that the SOS.
A man may walk from dusk to dawn, but a woman's work is never done. Undoubtedly, moms deserve to be celebrated because they are always putting others ahead of themselves. Mother's Day is the perfect opportunity to stop and reflect on all of her hard work. Of course, Mother's Day isn't just a day for celebrating your own mother. It's a day for honoring all women in your life who support and nurture you, from your sister to your grandmother.
All right, you're welcome back. I'm sure that the SOS is ready for us right now.
Good afternoon, ladies. Global greetings to all Ambazonians and 21 gun salute to all restoration forces. Welcome to Award 2022. Today is the big day for us to launch this award. And first, I'm going to run down through the program we have for tonight. And I understand that I'll be alternating with Professor Bridget Tibble, if all is well. So we'll proceed in that fashion. We're going to have the opening prayer by Pastor Commandos. We're going to sing the minutes of silence by Reverend Leonga. Then we'll have declaration of the opening of the draft by the President, uh, Dr. Samuel Ikomisako. We have a word from the Interim House of Representatives by the Chair, Dr. Winifred Lobati. We also have a word from the Judicial Committee Chair, Barrister Timothy Behesa. Then a word from the coordinator of the county chairs, Professor Epote, with coordination of the 2022 draft by the resource mobilization team. And finally, we'll have remarks by the president, Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako. And then we'll have the final or closing prayer by Pastor Victor. So this is the rundown of the program we have this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are. And I think it's going to be a very packed and excited evening for us all. And I hope everyone will participate. We really hope that people will also be able to dip their hands in their pockets, those who haven't done so, and to show the world that we mean business as far as this revolution is concerned. And over the course of today, I think we'll be having some sort of discussion and giving more detail as to why we have to do the draft. This is our ticket to sovereignty. This is our ticket to regain our sovereignty. This is our ticket to make sure that we do not live as slaves in our own country. And in the course of today, I'm going to explain to you the impact from the international scene and what does that mean. And I think hopefully I'll be able to speak in a lingua franca so that I can make it very clear to those who may not be very fluent in standard English. So over to you, ladies.
All right, thank you so much. But before you go, I just want to just get one answer from you. What are your expectations this night? You've given us a rundown, great, but what are your personal expectation as the SOS?
Right. We thank you for that question. I think that's a recurring theme. We hopefully today we want to be able to raise 100,000 or more to have a hefty war chest so that we go into this battle for this year with all the equipment we need. And we've seen very, very positive signs from the home front, especially from Field Marshal Sagon and Ngokutunjia, who actually showed us just a snippet of the quality and the action that they've been able to conduct on the ground. So these are very, very brave people, very, very, very brave people. And we cannot disappoint them today. We have to demonstrate that while they put their lives on the ground, what we have to do is to at least sacrifice something financially to help them. That is the deal we have today. So I really hope that will come in a masses and pay the draft. And I hope by the end of today, we should be able to be proud to have at least 100,000, if not more, maybe twice as much. That's even be wonderful. And you can rest assured that we will go into action and the results will be there for everybody to see. Thank you, and over to you, ladies.
All right, thank you so much. We'll definitely come back. Let's go on a short break.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, and 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www. It's quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
Yeah, I'm Ambazonian people them. As an official now, I'm picking them this road. The Jaguars, the Black Lions. They want to give me a reason why we the big say make on our draft. not been our habit for the post video. When I say that they come, but not the shape. We do for our target. When I go enter, when I go job market. We don't want to move and see why the big thing on draft. Yes. Come, I'm going to phone out by that phone to me. Now take a look on tomorrow. And the big blender will come. Put back your gun for back of boy. Put back your gun for back tomorrow. Yes, come. Muna come. Muna the come. Muna the come. Muna the come. Muna the come. We are the check. Muna the come. Now go enter our target. Maybe lose your head boy. Only him. You don't want to enter the camera. Muna the blind enter the camera. Yeah, hold on a little. Here you come. Here you come. You don't stop. Move on to me. Move on back to me. You don't come. Move on back to me. Move your phone back. Move the phone back. Move the phone back. You don't come. Move your phone back. Go back. Let's look at me. Come on, baby. Turn back. They want more order. Order don't come out. No, they walk at it and wait. No, don't waste time. Don't wait. You see that? Now don't have the problem. So I will go down. Yeah, they do not. So I will go down. Yeah, they won't call you. You know, you can go back. So they won't call you. They won't run. Look at me, so I will go up. They won't run. Shoot. They won't run. Shoot. But they let you run. They won't call you so what I will window so for you. No, Madenda. Atención, ya cuando. Ya cuando. Ahora.
Welcome back. As you know, Dr. Martin Mungwar is in the studio with us tonight, and of course our news director too is in the studio with us tonight. We'll hand over the session to them to make some commentaries in regards to the video just played now. Dr. Martin Mungwar.
Yes, thank you once again. I am proud to tell you that where that action is taking place, I have driven past that road. It's from my county. I know that road very well. And I remember the last time I drove through that road all the way to Jakiri was in 2012 when I went home for the first time after more than 15 years. So I know that locality very well. And I'm so proud that the field marshal in Ngokitunja is actually doing this work. It's a great booster for us, and it demonstrates what with very little little material, how these guys are so intelligent to make sure they plan, execute, and you see the results for yourself. So it is not fake news. It is not something that people just write about it and you begin to wonder where is the proof. We can see it now. This is the bravery of our restoration forces. This is what these young men and women are able to do to counter the terrorism from La République du Cameroon. As I explained yesterday, last Tuesday, it is not just about taking our country back. It goes beyond it. It goes beyond taking our country back. It goes as far as making sure that when we sell our exports, France does not take 50% of it. And why do I say that? Many people don't even understand the mechanism, what France does to Ambazonia. Industrial equipment, vehicles, all sorts of manufactured goods
We don't make them in Ambazonia. So the only way we can acquire these materials is to go overseas. But the local currency cannot be used overseas. You cannot go to France, even to France, and say, oh, I have 500,000 CFA. Can I buy a bag of fertilizer? They will tell you that they don't recognize it. If you have dollars, if you have French francs, if you have yen, yes, they will accept. So what happens is that when we sell our cash crops, or we sell our oil, petroleum products, they pay us in hard currency, in dollars. And that is where France comes in and takes 50%. What does that mean? It means that you don't have enough money to buy caterpillars, to buy structural steel, to buy even cement, to buy fertilizers. You are already short-handed. That is not fair. That is why we are fighting this war. So that a foreign country that has nothing to do with Amazonia has access to 50% of our hard currency. That's what I was trying to explain. I once say, any man where they listen for this program today, me really understand why we fight. We not just fight because we want to be independent. It goes beyond independence. We give for no say whether we buy na iron rod, whether we buy na cement, whether we buy na tin way we not make them for Amazonia. We get for go for foreign country or buy them. But you know, if you go there with money where they make them for Cameroon because they don't know them. The only way for one, I say, when we sell this with material, them they go pay we for dollars. We'll put them for some bank account for overseas. But the thing being, I say, whenever we sell this thing, then keep them for that account. France, they can't take 50%, put out of your pockets and I own. They will ask you, say, why you take that money? We don't already be poor country. They want a very rich country, but they can't cut 50% put out of their pocket. When they ask them, they say, because we talk French. We talk which French? Which French would they talk? We did for country where they talk na English. Then French people can't talk, say, anything we sell them for white man country, they'll take 50% put out of their pocket. Now, reason way for 50 years, the number tag one road for we sell for country. They don't be able for thief about $32 billion for we account. And they inside their own pocket. If we forget that money, all road from Amazon and Otaram. They'll put a water tank for every village, for every town for Amazonia. All these sick when they talk say cholera, say no day. Now the real reason why we fight this fight, not only say we fight this fight for get independence, we fight this fight so that we economy will grow. So that some of that industry we say will build them for Amazonia. So that when we sell with cocoa, we sell with coffee, we sell with petroleum, we sell with gas, 100% of that money you enter inside our account. So man no stand for corner talk say me take 50% because we talk that country talk. I want for make a move when I really understand. Now the problem that way it really make we will be poor. You know if it says something and the man will be rich, he can't take 50% put out for your pocket, and they should don't. Now they think this way, Amazonians they don't understand. When I get for understand them. Now the reason why this war get for be won. So any man for country when they already sacrificed because they talk about country Sunday when they obey, and they talk about ghost town when they obey that one when I pack that way when they do them with a small money way when they give. But as you talk, so we were within for the other side for country where we did for one man country, we get for pay more. We get for pay more because we life not be in danger like when I did for Amazonia. Now when they ask anybody where dinner for one man country, so me pay $1,000. So that we will buy the materials again for we ARF them, so that they will defend we, so that we'll finally go to Boya. That is the story. And I want to say, before today finish, me no man not talk say no here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mungwa.
You.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Mungwa. For those who are watching on the from Zoom, Barrister Fru is just indicating
that there is security alert. I would like for, if there's any change or something that's supposed to happen on the Zoom, I would like someone to just indicate to us. Nijo is here to give us some briefings before the program actually begin. I want to apologize for the late start. It was due to some technical issues which have been resolved. I will not want to say anything because Dr. Mungo has said everything. Those who are managing the Zoom, please verify what Barrister Fru is talking. He has alerted a security issue. Please, co-host, verify what is happening and kick out any intruder or anyone who is wanting to disturb the situation in the Zoom meeting. I cannot pick any call now. Please, it will be preferable you write to me. Just right after the break, Nijo will talk and then the program can go on, please. I said everything. Those who are managing the Zoom, please verify what Barrister Fru is talking. There is one right after the break. Can you hear me? Right after the ABC promo break. Can you hear me? I'm talking to the technicians. Just right after the break, Nijo will talk and then the program can go on. Can we have the promo now? Right after the break, can you hear me? Right after the break.
Is that to me? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear. I can hear.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team. The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team. All right, with us in the studio we have Joe in the studio with us, and would like to have him say hi if he's here already and if he can hear us clearly. Make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services.
Awesome lady Star and Lady Onye and your wonderful team. We're here finally, and if I had an opportunity, I'm not a very good singer, but I think today is one of those days you can gladly sing that today is the day to draft, right? So today is the day, amen, the day to draft, amen, draft, amen, amen, draft again, amen, amen. That's what we're doing. And thank you, girls. I cannot thank you enough and your team for all the work you're doing. It's a marvelous advertisement for the Ambazonian course, and no one else can carry this story more than you do. We are on D-Day and everything is set, and we're just waiting for participants. We're looking at a number of 200, but we are on 154 at the moment. So we will be starting soon to get Ambazonians to draft. And thank you for the clips, for all of what happened in Gwakutunja earlier today. This is a great motivation, a great reason why we should all draft and draft today. And if you thought in the morning you had to draft $1,000 and you've seen what those guys have done, the bravery, the intelligence, the planning, the execution, these are guys with no professional training, just the Ambazonian blood in them, just the fight, the quest to be free. You know, and they are doing all of this. I can't say anymore. But everything is set. Payment platforms are set. The audience is in place. We're just waiting to start.
And like you requested, for us to be in this uniform today. We oblige to your request on that one. And moving on with today's agenda, we're going to